folks, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Lone Adventurer, and today I'm going to be playing through this old school fighting fantasy choose your own adventure style game, which I think is from the 80s. I mean, certainly from the 80s. Oh, look at that. Why have they... Where's the previous owner of this Tipex out 2 words? What's the deal with that? That's a bit of a mystery, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, first published in 1984. So, let's see. When this was first published, I wasn't much of a reader. I was too young to be reading books. But when I was younger, I did have a couple of these, and I do vaguely remember playing them. I didn't keep them, unfortunately, so this is not a copy that was from my youth. This is one I picked up on eBay a few years ago, and we're going to play through some of this game today. Well, we'll see how we do. I might die, it might be short, it might be long, it might be multiple videos, it might be one video, who's to say? And this really is a little bit of a warm-up, because I've got a couple of choose your own adventure type game books that I want to play on the channel, but are perhaps a slightly larger undertaking. So there you go. This one is called The Castle of Blackwood Moors. So this is a more recent game that I think was funded on Kickstarter, and it is pretty chunky. Now, I don't think it's an overly complex game, but I think there's a little bit more to it, perhaps a little bit more to it than this one. So I need to build up psychologically to that, I think. And then I've got the Fabled Lands series, and this is another game book series, not from the 80s, I think probably from like the early 90s. This is an original edition, 1988. Okay, well, see, I owned 2 or 3 of these Fabled Lands books back when they were first published, so I think I must have picked them up around like 90, 92, something like that, and then, like an absolute muppet, sold them. But I bought them all back recently, so I've got a complete set of the Fabled Lands books, original editions. I don't have the more recently published one, but I'll pick it up at some point. So I've got those I want to play. But as a little warm-up, today we're going to be playing the Talisman of Death by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. The once peaceful world of Orb is in terrible danger. Dark forces are at work to unleash the awesome might of the Evil One, and only you can stop them. Your mission is to destroy the Talisman of Death before the Dark Lord's minions reach you. But beware, time is running out. Alright, says here you need 2 dice, I've got 3, a pencil and an eraser, and that's all you need. So I've got my pencil and eraser here, and I've got my dice. I'll tell you why I've got 3 in a minute. Okay, so choose your own adventure books. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar. There's a series of passages, paragraphs. Each one is numbered. At certain points you'll be given choices as to what to do next, which page to turn to next. Sometimes you have to fight something and see if you can successfully complete the game and find a successful ending. In this game we have 3 stats. They are skill, stamina and luck. We are going to roll now to find out what the stats of my character are. So it says here, roll 1 die, add 6 to this number and enter the total in the skill box. What I saw done on another channel is they rolled 3 dice and then they took the middle number rather than rolling 1. And I suppose this sort of balances out the or mitigates the luck involved in this slightly, maybe. So you're not going to end up with 3 1s. But I guess it means you're less likely to end up with a higher number as well. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to try this. We're going to roll 3 dice, add it to 6, and then that'll be the skill number for my character. Wow. So that gives me a 1. So that is pretty low. Doesn't bode well, does it? So that gives me a skill of 7. I'll stick with it because them's the rules. So that's my initial skill value. So we keep that through the entire game. These values might go up and down, but they can never exceed the initial skill. So 7 is my absolute maximum, and that is low. Okay, all right. So now we need to roll and add 12, and this will give us a stamina score. Okay, so we've got 4 there, so that gives me a stamina of 16. And for luck, we roll 1 die. Oh, roll both dice. Okay, sorry, so I should have rolled 2 dice and added 2 numbers to the 12 for my stamina. So I'm going to do it again. And there we go. So we're going to add on 3 as well. So that would give me a total of 19. And then luck, we're just getting 1 dice. And 5, that's good. Alright, so 5 add 6 is 11. So our initial luck value is 11. Now, we've also got an equipment list. I got to choose between 3 potions to take. And actually I wrote Potion of Fortune, which gives me a luck boost, but my luck is quite high. Maybe I should be going for the potion that helps you with your skill. Potion of Skill restores all skill points. Yeah, maybe I should be taking a Potion of Skill. You also start with 5 torches, which I guess are handy. Gold, jewels. I didn't get told anything about gold or jewels, so I don't think you start with any of that. You do start with 10 provisions. Provisions can be used to, you can munch on them to up your stamina if your stamina's getting low. Yeah, that's it really. Everything else we'll explain as we go along. We've got a background section here, so I'll read through this and then we'll get started with the game. You are regaining consciousness. Your eyes flutter open to the sound of a songbird trilling joyously. Well, that sounds nice, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like anything bad's going to happen here. You are lying on a couch of green velvet set on the topmost turret of a great white castle hanging in the clouds. Rising to your feet, you look around. The songbird, whose sleek feathers are a warm burnished gold, is perched on the battlements, resplendent against the ocean blue canopy of a sky in which there is no sun. Ooh. You are clad in strange, outlandish clothes, breeches of dark green leather and a thickly quilted leather jerkin. On your feet are russet red calfskin boots, supple and comfortable, into which the breeches are tucked at mid-calf. Oh, wow. A heavy sword is belted at your side, and with a shock you realise that somehow you know how to use it skillfully and with deadly force. As the songbird trills, you try, in vain, to recall memories of Earth, but everything is hazy and distant. You have been taken from the world you know and trained in the art of swordplay. You cannot remember even who trained you or why, but the hilt of the sword fits your hand snugly. Drawing it, you lunge and parry, marvelling at how the sword cuts through the air faster than the eye can follow. I mean, with skills like this, surely I'm going to get through this adventure with no problems at all. The songbird seems unperturbed by your fine display of swordsmanship, but you are surprised when it cocks its head and speaks to you, its voice fluting merrily. Welcome, champion of fate. Do not be dismayed. You are not yet in danger. Where am I? You ask, feeling as if you are in a dream. Far, far away from home, I fear to say. This is the world of Orb, and you are in the garden of the gods. What is Orb? You demand. You will find it most strange and full of wonder, for it is very different from Earth. Men must share it not just with talking creatures such as I, but with weird and fell monsters, giants, dragons and demons. There are warlocks and sorcerers too, great wielders of magic in the cities. But do not fear, you have been chosen to be our champion, for you are more likely to succeed than any other on Earth. Sounds like a reason to fear, if you ask me. Now I must complete my task. Come, my masters bid you join them in the chamber below. Please follow me. With that, the golden songbird flutters away down a spiral staircase. Shaking your head in confusion, you descend the stone steps into a large circular room where two beings turn towards you. Welcome, says one, a pale female figure enfolded in a swirling robe of many colours, above which you can only see a perfectly smooth and hairless head. The robe shimmers, its colours shifting as she steps towards you, catching your mind before you realise what is happening. Looking into her face, you see an image of yourself fighting for your life inside a huge temple. Then the image shifts, and you see yourself leaving a walled city, hastening alone across a desolate moor, only to find yourself deep in a jungle, surrounded by devils with blue skins. Your nape bristles as you realise that she is revealing glimpses of your destiny. It is only when they are over that you notice she has no eyes in her smooth, pale face. The other figure changes even as you look at him. At one moment he is an ancient white-haired man, heavy with knowledge. At another, an infant, wise beyond his years. The metamorphosis through youth to age takes but a few instants, yet flows so smoothly you cannot see the features change. His voice is soft and ageless. We have summoned you here to the world of Orb because we wish to prevent a fatal upset in the balance of nature. The cosmic scales have been tipped too far, and you must play a part in righting them. It is not for us in the garden of the gods to set things right. We cannot fight him who would bring chaos to Orb. Rather, we use men as our tools. I shall not say whether you will succeed. The floor in the room upon which you are standing is the most realistic and detailed map imaginable. You can even see small figures tilling the fields and walking the streets of an entire world, a world of pinnacled castles, knights on horseback, their men-at-arms bearing banners which stream in the wind, and strange high-walled cities with towers and spires, concealing the dives of assassins and thieves among the splendour. The eyeless immortal steps forward, her robe now the colour of the deep sea, and caresses your cheek. We are sending you down to the surface of Orb. If you fall into the clutches of death, we cannot aid you. Do not fail us. Fail in what? You begin to ask, but just then To your horror, you find yourself being drawn inexorably towards the black crack in the map. The realization that your destiny is being tampered with angers you, and you resolve to find a way back to Earth and your home at any cost. As the world of Orb rises up to engulf you, the awesomeness of what is happening overwhelms you, and you lose consciousness. Now turn over. All right, in we go. So here is our first paragraph of the adventure, and at the end we've got a couple of choices. When awareness returns, you look around. You are standing in a huge vaulted chamber, deep underground. In the chill air, you wonder what terrible fate may be in store for you. You are utterly alone, without a friend in the world, and you have no idea what fiendish horrors may exist here, so far from home. There are no windows in the chamber, nor natural light, only the ruddy glow of flaming torches that are fixed to pillars soaring beyond sight. The walls are running with damp, the air musty and heavy with age. There are 2 archways at the back of the cavern. Before you investigate further, the torchlight flickers and a cool gust chills you to the marrow. Something in the unseen darkness is causing the air to move. A light flashes briefly ahead of you, and an infernal howling echoes across the vast vault. No living thing could possibly have made that dreadful sound, you think to yourself, but then you remember that you know nothing of the dreadful denizens of Orb. You hear the sound of running footsteps approaching rapidly. You cannot yet see who or what is coming. Will you run through the nearest archway? Turn to 17. Or hold your ground and draw your sword? Turn to 30. Man, do I want to fight this early on? I think we're gonna leg it. If I was a little bit more fight focused, maybe I'd turn and fight, but I'm not. So the game does recommend drawing a map. So I'm going to start drawing a map, and we'll see how it goes. I don't really know how we do this, but so we're going through to section 17. As you dash towards the forbidding blackness of the archway, you hear a click, followed by a rumbling sound ahead. The floor beneath your feet begins to tremble. Do you want to hurl yourself through the archway into the darkness? 41. Wow. Or stop your headlong flight? 21. Well, I feel like, I've committed now. If I turn back, I'm sort of flip-flopping on my decision. So I feel like I should sort of push on and hurl myself into the darkness, which doesn't sound like the best move possible, but that's what I'm going to do. Before you can charge through the archway, a slab of smooth rock slams down from above with a sound like a clap of thunder that reverberates around the cavern. It blocks the archway completely. Unfortunately, you cannot stop in mid-leap. You crash sickeningly into the stone with a bone-jarring force. Lose 2 stamina points. Great. Alright, it's not going well. I don't really know how to do this map. Anyway, we've lost 2 stamina points already. Oh, don't cross that out. That's the initial stamina. But we're at 17 now. I've just made a little note that might help me on future run-throughs. I mean, I'm already sort of freaking out a little bit about how quickly I'm going to die in this thing. Feeling somewhat groggy, you pick yourself up and realise that the other archway is similarly sealed. Seeing as you have no option, you turn to face oncoming footsteps and draw your sword. Turn to page 13. So I don't have a choice, I have to face whoever this is. We've got our first bit of super cool artwork here. A woman wearing chainmail and carrying a loaded crossbow bursts into the torchlight ahead of you. Seeing you, she immediately points the bow in your direction. 3 men, panting heavily, appear behind her. The first, a tall and handsome man, is dressed in shining silver armour, and the blade of his 2-handed sword glows with a faint white radiance. The next is dressed in a flowing robe of cloth of gold and wearing a smiling gold mask. He carries an ivory staff. The last is a thick-set man with a white surcoat over chainmail. A red cross adorns his breast, and a spiked mace hangs at his side. They stop. Once again you hear a wailing, louder than before. "They are almost upon us," cries the man with the glittering sword. The shield maiden calls to you. "Who are you, and what are you doing here in the rift, the spawning place of evil?" Will you, so I've got 4 options here, say you have come from another world, say you are on a quest against evil, try to play for time, or attack the shield maiden. Well, I'm not going to attack her. That seems foolish. She might not be someone... She might be a good person. She might be a helpful person to have around. I'm going to say I'm on a quest against evil. So I'm going to turn to 60. "Alone?" asks the shield maiden, in disbelief. The man in gold turns to the priest. "Is it true?" he asks. Knowing your story to be a lie, you wait anxiously while the priest casts a spell. "Is it a lie? I'm on a quest, aren't I? How's that a lie?" "It is a lie," says the priest. The shield maiden turns to you accusingly. "Why are you lying to us? I ask you again. Who are you, and what are you doing here? Will you tell them the truth, or ask what business it is of theirs?" Tell them the truth. Let's tell them the truth. Turn to 70. Her eyebrows rise in surprise. All 4 of them look at you doubtfully. The priest pauses, then says, "It is the truth, and spoken from a true heart." The shield maiden lowers the bow and turns to guard the entrance of the cavern. "What are we to do? The exits are blocked, and I only have enough power to teleport one of us out now," asks the man in gold. The man with the glittering sword, a paladin, says gravely, "Then we will die together, wizard, and they will pay dearly." "But what of the talisman?" asks the priest. "Perhaps this warrior has been sent by the gods to continue the quest." Sensing the goodness in these people, you wait to hear how you can aid them. Turn to 100. Okay, so we know that these are goodies, so we should not attack them. If we have to play this again, or if I have to play this again, if I die at some point, I will remember not to attack these dudes. The priest steps towards you and tells you this story. Long ago, the minions of the god Death in the city of the Runes of Doom fashioned a talisman that would allow them, if the time was right, to summon their god to the surface of this world. That time has now come. If Death is summoned, all life will cease. Only Death's minions will continue to exist in an awful half-life. His presence will spread like a grey shadow across the world of Orb. Everything will turn to dust, and the balance of nature will be disrupted forever. Doesn't sound that bad. Don't know what the big deal is. The law masters of Serakub, a group of holy people, have striven to prevent this. They sent a group of crusaders, of which we four alone survive, on a quest to steal the talisman. The fleshless king of the minions of death has sent the talisman to the depths of the rift for safekeeping. We have entered this pit of evil and seized it. He pulls a necklace out from under his surcoat. On it hangs a disc of obsidian, in the middle of which is a skull carved in ruby, the Talisman of Death. That's the name of the book. He hands it to you. Here, for the sake of all orb, you must take this talisman and continue the quest. It cannot be destroyed, but if you can take it to your world, it will be beyond the reach of the claw of the fleshless king. You are impressed by the courage and unselfish fortitude of these people, and resolve to continue the quest. You take the talisman. It feels cold and heavy around your neck. The wizard turns to you and says, I am going to use the powers of magic to transport you to the surface. Head west until you come to the city of learning, Grey Guilds on the Moor, where you may discover a way to return to your world. Do not fail us. Here, take this gold. It may be of use. He gives you a purse with 10 gold pieces in it. As the wizard prepares his spell, a horde of creatures boils into the cavern. Turn to 125. Right, so we've got 10 gold pieces. Dark elves and cave trolls are pouring into the cavern, attacking the shield maiden. As the paladin and priest rush to her aid, you see a huge shadowy form looming behind the sea of elves and trolls. The paladin's glittering sword cuts through the horde, but the dark elves are using magic, and the shield maiden is unable to turn back their attack. She falls beneath their onslaught. The huge fiend howls triumphantly, just as the wizard completes his spell. Turn to 185. Oh, there we go. Suddenly, you are in blinding sunshine. You are standing at the lip of an immense chasm. You realise that this must be the rift the Crusaders spoke of. The rocky earth is blackened and cracked, full of pits and fissures. Noisome fumes rise from the depths of the chasm. To the west you see a range of grey hills, partially covered in trees, and thick woodland. A few hundred metres to your right you can see where a forest begins, extending all the way to the hills. You realise you must head in the direction of the hills to reach Grey Guilds, but which route will you take? If you go through the forest, turn to 265. If you would rather take the more direct route across open ground, turn to 134. Okay, so I think I will... bad things happen in forests, right? But I'll be more exposed if I take the non-forested route, I guess. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn to 134 and I'm going to avoid the forest for now. You set off across the rocky, broken ground towards the hills. After a short while you notice 2 armed bands running towards you. Wow. The group to the south consists of 20 or more orcs, snarling as they lope purposefully towards you. Oh my god. They are hunched and misshapen, dressed in greasy blackened leather and carrying saw-toothed scimitars. Their shields are emblazoned with a purple claw. To the north you can make out a small group of dark elves, similar to those which killed the shield maiden. They are tall and lithe, wearing ornately spiked armour and carrying long swords of a dull metal. They are some way off but are closing fast. Will you head for the orcs, head for the elves, run for the hills, or hide? Well, surely I've got to avoid these groups. So either running for the hills or hiding seems like a decent option to me. I might run for the hills. You run as fast as you can along the rocky ground. Your lungs are burning with the effort. As you approach the hills, you look back and see that both groups are now roughly the same distance behind you. The elves coming from the north are in a tight pack, while the orcs to the south are beginning to string out. Will you head north to meet the elves, climb a hill to the south to face the orcs, or run on? Maybe I'll climb the hill to face the orcs. I mean, fighting 20 orcs sounds insane. I mean, surely they're not going to expect me to fight 20 orcs. You struggle up the nearest hill and halt at its summit. You have a few moments to catch your breath before the first orcs are upon you. Luckily, being no more than an undisciplined mob, they run at you one at a time. That's good news. You must fight the first three in order. The third is apparently their leader, a huge, broad brute with curving yellow tusks and a jagged-edged scimitar. Orc 1 has got a skill of 5 and a stamina of 6. Now each time we successfully hit our opponent, they will lose as standard 2 stamina, and if they reach 0 stamina, they die. Similarly, if we reach 0 stamina, we die. So this is what we do. We roll both the dice for the creature and add this to its skill score. 6, that's not too bad, plus skill of 5 is 11, so 11 for the creature, and then we do the same for ourselves. 6, 7, and my skill is 7, so I've got 14, so I have the higher score, 14 to their 11. Nice and simple. So I have wounded the creature and need to subtract 2 points from its stamina. Now I could use some luck to potentially increase the amount of damage that I do, but I don't think I'm going to do that on this occasion. So let's do this again. Now we just need to keep on going until one of us dies. So we're going to roll for the creature. Ooh, snake eyes. So that 2 plus their skill of 5 gives them a 7. And my big 10 plus 7 gives me 17. So once again, I win that particular clash. And one final time. So for the monster. Oh my days. It's all a bit lucky, isn't it? This isn't going to last. So they get 7 again. And I get the 9 plus 7, 16. So I comfortably kill that first orc. That's nice. So let's go on to orc number 2. Orc number 2 is very similar, has a skill of 5, but only a stamina of 4. Okay, so for the orc. Oh wow, this is ridiculous, isn't it? 3, so that's 8. What do we call that? Attack strength. So an attack strength of 8 for the orc, and an attack strength of 7 plus 7 for me, which is 14. So obviously I've done all right there. And again for the orc, attack strength of 7 plus 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And for me, a bit lower this time, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is a hit on me, taking me down from 17 to 15 stamina. Alright, roll for the attack strength of the orc. Ooh, that's bad. Alright, so 12, 17 for the orc. Ooh, and certainly less than 17 for me. So that's another 2 points of damage I've taken there. So I'm down to 13 stamina. Alright, hopefully we can finish it off now. So attack strength of the orc is 7, 12. And for me, 6, 13. Oh, that is close. Alright, but I do kill the orc. So now we're facing the leader orc, which is a bit more powerful, having a skill of 7. So, I mean, the skill is the same as mine. So we're equally balanced. I've got such a low skill. I can't see me surviving for very long. And a stamina of 7. Oh my days. All right, here we go. So, orc leader. That's 7 plus 7, which is 14. And for me, 7 plus 7 is 14. So, because the scores are equal, we have managed to evade each other's blows. So let's try again for the orc. 7 plus 7 is 14. 4, 5, 6. Oh, so I've got 13. That means I'm going to take 2 points of damage, taking me down to 11. This sucks. Okay. Alright. Attack strength of the orc. Oh, bit lower. That's good. 7, 11. And for me, 5, 6, 7, 14. Excellent. So I have hit the orc. I was wondering, should I use my skill, my luck rather, or is it too early to be doing that? I don't know. Let's see how the next attack goes. So the orc is now down to 5 stamina. Remember, I'm on 11 stamina. Okay, so another round. Attack strength of the orc. 5. So a total of 12. And for me, oh, that's good. 9 plus 7 is 16. So I definitely win that one. So that's going to take him down to 3. And then the orc is going to attack again. And that's 6 plus 7 is 13. And for me, oh, that's good, 17. So I'm doing 2 points of damage, but annoyingly, the orc is on 3 points of stamina. Now, I can use my luck to potentially do more damage, and I think probably that's a good idea at this point. Just looking at the luck in battles section. If you've just wounded the creature, you may test your luck as described above. If you are lucky, you inflict a severe wound and may subtract an extra 2 points from the creature's stamina score. Okay, so I'm lucky if I roll equal to or less than my current luck score, which is 11. Okay, and I've rolled 9, so that is less than my luck score. But your luck then goes down. So my luck is going to go down to 10. But that has allowed me to successfully deal a more severe wound, which is going to kill the orc, meaning I won't have to go through another round of battle. So that's pretty good. Okay, so that's left me on 11 stamina. All 3 orcs are dead. We're going to turn to 1, 1, 1. And then after that entry, I think I'm going to stop this first video and we'll carry on in another video, another time. When they see that you have overcome their leader single-handed, the rest of the orcs turn tail and run. You hurry on down the far side of the hills. Before you lies a steep-sided valley deep in ferns. You decide to head down into it, hoping to elude the elves. Turn to 103. 203, sorry. Okay, we've had a successful battle. We've made a good start to the adventure, so I think I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this adventure and you want to see it continue, please do subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification icon, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.